Welcome to Kick Him in the Head, a podcast that takes an inside look at the world of mixed martial arts, featuring interviews from some of the top fighters from South Africa and around the world, with a focus on the EFC and UFC promotions. I'm your host, Yao. Join us as we delve deep into the techniques, strategies, and mindsets of these world-class athletes, learning from their experiences and getting insights into what it takes to succeed in the toughest sport on earth.
Welcome to another jam-packed episode of the Kick Him in the Head podcast. Today, we are recapping EFC 119 that happened last week, Thursday, on the 14th of November. Now, EFC 119 was an absolutely stunning fight night, and helping me break it all down is Joel, Patrick, and my man Ola from the Fight Week Show. Gentlemen, how are you all doing tonight?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good, man.
Good.
I'm okay on my side of it, right?
I'm definitely excited to do this one. I think, Patrick, you are a key feature in this episode because you were fighting at EFC 119. So I think with that said, let us get straight into it. EFC 119. Now, obviously the main fight, this fight was between Balelo Machavani and then the co-main Van Beek versus Chuku. Then it comes to you, Joel. How did you feel about this fight card when you saw it come out with the main and the co-main?
Yes, when this fight card came out with a main fight, with it being the flyweight division, the division I also compete in, just in the amateur leagues, I was super excited. Edson is someone that I've known for years. When I started MMA, we used to train with him back in the old days. And Terrence he's been that guy that steps up and performs. So that card I thought would have been an absolute banger. Seeing some movement in the women's division as well, absolutely awesome. And then there were a few other fights also on the card, Patrick being one of them, which I think definitely lived up to the expectations.
Definitely. Patrick, so you were on this card. When did you know about this card? When were you added to it? Did you have a full camp? Tell us a little bit more about you and fighting at EFC 119.
I knew about the fight 2 months before we fought, and we were supposed to have the fight, the previous fight card, EFC 118, but because of I already signed a contract between me and Koleni at King's K1 Pro Fight, so then they had to move it to EFC 119. So I had a lot of time to prepare, and I knew what I was up against because I knew my opponent is strong, and people were scared of him. I don't know why. Because of his toughness, and he likes to intimidate people, but I don't get intimidated easily, you know. So yeah, I was really, like I told you when you interviewed me, I said to you that I trained, I tried to touch up every angle of any aspect of that I'll be needing for the fight. So I was really prepared for the fight.
Amazing. Ola, let me come to you. Now, we had our boy Triple B, Big Balls, Terrence, the Black Panther Balelo in the main event, which we're going to go into in a second. How did you feel watching this overall card? And most importantly, how were your picks for this card? How did it go?
A lot of my picks went how I thought it'd go. I like the card a lot. The card, just going into this as well, spoke to a lot of the guys that was on this card. Our brother Adrian Sanchez and Shadrach Unsua Blammy on the card as well. You know what I mean? All wishing him an happy birthday and all that stuff going into it. And I had a blast just watching the card in itself. The main events with Triple B, that one they left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, and that was just down to the result. I thought the performance from both of them were excellent. They gave us a show. The showmanship was there from both sides. They counted each other out. For maybe I'll probably say first couple of rounds or something like that, and then I felt Terrence started to take off a little bit. Started to put his striking together a little bit. Edson couldn't get the takedown. He was looking for that takedown, most of the fight. But these two guys know each other very well. You could tell during the fight, and there's a lot of mutual respect from these two guys as well. And yeah, congratulations to Edson on picking up the win. But I have a feeling this is not the last time we're going to see these two in the cage. Fighting for gold. So long may it continue. But yeah, very very disappointed for our boy Triple B for not getting his hand raised. Very disappointed for him.
Now, in that, we saw this fight go to decision, and it went to the judges, and it was on a split. Joel, let me come to you. It seemed to be a little bit of a controversial ending to the fight simply because of the decision. A lot of people in the audience, even Graham Cartmel, the matchmaker, said he scored it for Terrence, but Edson came out with the win. How did you see that fight? How did you score that fight? From your perspective, who won?
So ordinarily, I would be a judge. Actually, on this event, I didn't judge. I was actually in stage security, so you would have seen me opening and closing the door.
Right.
Off the bat, live, I had Edson up, and then right after the decision was announced, chatting to fans and other judges, other coaches, other people in the MMA community, you could see that there'll be a lot of controversy around this decision. So I went back and I actually rewatched the fight, and this fight was extremely close. It was very, very close. Both guys showing their personalities, putting performances in on the cage. And I think what it came down to is Edson was the one pushing forward, and Belelo was the one waiting for the counters. In the judges' eyes, I think you saw Edson throwing and landing more. Belelo had good counters, and he was landing the counters as well. But again, very, very, very close fight. And I think looking back at it, it could have gone either way. I know the commentators live, they were leaning towards Belelo. World Sports Betting odds also went that way as well. And a lot of the fans as well. The thing with Terrence is when he fights, he draws such a big crowd with him live at the event that you can actually hear them chanting. And more often than not, that crowd might sway the judge's decision. Maybe it won't. In this instance, I don't think that it had an effect on the decision. I think a key thing which maybe will lean to what the judges saw is Belelo was more defensive than offensive. He spent a lot of time being defensive especially in the clinch on the cage. And that's time where Edson is landing. He was landing those nice knees in the clinch. Belelo was patting him on the bum at some points. And I think that particular aspect is what could have swayed the judges to lean in Edson's favor. Now, again, a split decision, that means two judges had it one way and one judge had it the other way. If we look back at it, we had the one judge was 48-47 for Edson, the other judge was 48-47 Belelo, and then the other judge was 49-46 for Edson.
That was the one
very,
that threw.
very, very close fight.
That one there was the one that really okay, both of these judges kind of saw it so close. Who's this other judge that gave it to Edson by that much margin? Because are we watching the same fight?
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that was the one that really got me.
So on that, if you don't mind if I just finish quick, each round is scored. So the round that I think the one judge had, which the other judges, the one judge had in Edson, where the other judges had for Belelo, was round 2. Round 2 was razor close. I wouldn't be surprised if judges actually scored that round a tie, a 10-10 round, which is very nearly, it's like very rare. You don't ever see it. I wouldn't have been shocked if it went that way, but extremely close fight.
So to answer the question, listen to this in the chat, says, do you think Edson deserved that win? Patrick, let me come to you. We saw a little bit of showmanship, as Joel mentioned, in the fight with Terrence patting Edson on the bum and calling for Edson to stand and bang, come to the center of the octagon, whereas Edson was, managing his distance very well. Do you think Edson deserved that win?
In my honest opinion, I believe Edison won the fight because I had to, just like Joe said, I had to go back home and I had to rewatch the fight and stuff because Edison is my friend, right? And Balelua is a very good guy as well. So, but besides trying to pick a side or so, but if you watch the fight, the round one, there's no argument there. Edison won the round one, right? Because it's a mixed martial arts, guys. At the end of the day, it's all about winning. It's not about proving a point, or it's using your weapon, using the thing that you know how to do best to get the W. That's what is more important. Edison was more active. He was controlling some of the cage more than Balelo. Like Joe said, he was waiting for Edison to throw something, then he wants to counter. Right. The fight was very, very interesting. I don't want to lie. It was very, very interesting. But if you check on who is scoring the most, round one, round two, round three, I'm giving it to Edison. That's me. Because of the round one, you cannot even argue about it. The round two was really close. But if you pay attention properly, you will see that Edison was a little bit ahead of it because of the clinch. The clinch and the knees as well, because that's when he used the knees more when he was tapping the in round two. You get my point. But in terms of damage, that's where the fans are getting more confused. Because in terms of damage, Baledua caused more damage because he was throwing a lot of power shots. Later in the fight. But the fight was really close. It could have gone either way. I don't want to lie. It could have gone either way. But I don't see any robbery there. In my opinion, I don't see any robbery there.
Yeah, I think the reason why people are calling robbery is that third card. If that third card was as close as the other two judges, I don't think you hear robbery from everyone or
True.
anyone.
True.
But it's that third judge that gave it 49-46 is why people are looking at robbery. You know what I mean? But I don't think it was like that until I heard that third judge. And like I said, thank you for bringing that up. I thought it was the third judge that really threw it for everybody. But everybody can see it was a close fight. They both gave us as good as it got. And like we said, both of them are showmans, and we got a very good entertaining fight. From both of them. It's just,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And now, and check this out, right? If that judge were to say it's a 48-47 round, would it have made any difference? Because it's still going to go in favor of Edison.
It would to
But it's
fans.
still going to lose anyways, though. So it doesn't really.
Yes.
And remember, it's their opinion of the judges. It's what they see. It's how they score the fight. And at the end of the day, the fans will always be fans. People watching it from other some because Balelua is a fan. Is somebody that wins the heart of the crowd. Right? People love him at the ESP. You cannot take that away from him. I love the way he associates with his coach. I love his vibe. I just love him. I love his style. It's a very entertaining. I love to entertain as well, but I'll give it to somebody that I know that this guy. No. It deserves all the attention and the audience he's getting because he earned it. You get my point. But at the end of the day, this is a game, guys. It's you must just look for a way to win. And Edison had the upper hand with the wrestling. So and even though he didn't get the takedown and stuff, but he had to do something in order to win. Like check at the UFC, for instance. Now, people that want to fight Alex Pereira, they want to prove a point. That's why they all lose. If you are a better wrestler, use your strength because now you're going to make him start touching himself. Are you going to shoot? Are you going to stand him back? But now you give him that confidence to stand him back, he's just going to kill you. So Edison had to do what he had to do to win. So, but like you said, because of the one judge that said it's 49-46, but I think he still wouldn't make any difference because two judges favored Edison and one goes to Belelo. So
sometimes when you compete, you want to know that you didn't finish last place because you put in all your effort and all your work and you finish second place, which is still, first, whichever place loser, you still lost. But the acknowledgement of the work that you put in is a bit more recognized. It's what I was saying about the points card. Because when you look at the team of the other, when you look at the team and the people that help the other fighter prepare for that card, and then they say for enough, it doesn't reflect their work. And that's why I was saying it means something to the people that are involved in it when you're hearing for the 49-46, when you can really see that's not what it is. Yes, you still lost, but it's an acknowledgement of the work that you put in and the preparation that you put in. That's what I was
Makes
alluding
sense.
to.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
That's fair enough. Joel, let me come to you very quickly before we move on to the co-main. Would the debate have been different if Balelo had successfully defended his title? If he had won the title on the split, would we be having this conversation? Or would we say, well, he won it on the split, doesn't matter who's next?
Look, I think you would we would still definitely be having this conversation because of how close the fight was. I think you would have had Edson supporters and fans that would have also been protesting, especially if we're looking at the clinch and we're looking at how dominant Edson was in portions of the fight as well. I do think you would see controversy if it had went the other way. Maybe less so because the champion would have remained the champ. One of the other narratives which I heard from the fans is saying, how can a champ lose his belt on a split decision? He's champ, he should retain it. But unfortunately, that's not how the scoring system works. I can see an argument for that with the old school narrative that the challenger has to beat the champ dominantly to get it. But I think if we open that door, then it's going to allow the champ to just coast his way to decisions in order to retain the belt, which is not something we want to do. But I think what the EFC has to do is they have to do a rematch over here. It has to be an immediate rematch in the busiest division the EFC has, but there has to be an immediate rematch. We need to see it, and we need to see a definitive result. We need to see a clear winner. So I think they have to do the rematch.
During the press conference, Graham said, sorry to interrupt you. During the press conference, Graham said there will be an immediate rematch early next year. So we're going to be seeing that.
Okay, well, that's good.
So, Ola, you might get your wish. You will see that fight happen again. And Triple B might this time actually raise the belt. We will see. So, to get to the co-main, Joel, like you said, we wanted to see a definitive winner. The co-main event between Dana Van Beek and Juliet Superchukwu was a great showcase of women's MMA. We saw these girls go all 5 rounds, just like the men, but they went all 5 rounds battering each other. Juliet was coming up from featherweight to bantamweight to fight in this fight. So for her, that was a weird video. So for her, it was it was a division up for her in that fight. So yes. she was very excited when she won. Ola, let me come to you first on this one. How did you see this fight? Did you see Juliet winning in the dominant way that you won, or how did you think the fight was going to go?
Number one, I got to shout out all the Nigerians that was on the card. They came through. They cleaned up to all the Nigerians that was on the card, man. And Juliet was
they only missed one
different. Fight, bro. Just let us take this one in peace here. Let us enjoy this one in peace, brother. You know what I mean? Julia was she I thought the way she handled the fight, it was more fight IQ that I respected in the way that she approached the fight. She landed a lot of shots, a lot of body kicks, a lot of calf kicks, and after Van Beek, she just couldn't get a timing right to really get in there and get hold of Julia and at least make it a rough fight. Like really, if the only way she was really going to get Julia and maybe do something to make it a brawl, but Julia was not allowing her to get in. She managed that distance very, very, very well. The tip kicks, the front kicks, she was using that to manage the distance there on Van Beek, and Van Beek just couldn't get, even as we're seeing there on the clip, couldn't get any of our most of our offenses off just because she couldn't get anywhere near Julia. And every time she threw a miss, Julia made her pay for it. And that was what that was what was more interesting about what we saw there. And for me, after Juliet went in there and dominated well. And the thing as well, like she said in our post fight interview, this is not really a division. She wants to go in a division and challenge for the belt there, and then come back and defend this one. So hopefully we get to see that with Julia. But shout out to her and her team. For me, it was more the fight IQ that was on display that I was really, really happy with in Julia's case to lead her to become the champion in this case. So yeah, very well done to her, and long may it continue.
Patrick, let me come to you. Ola, you can definitely jump in on this, but we now have a Nigerian champion, female Nigerian champion in the EFC. She's absolutely beaming with pride of being the first Nigerian female champion. How does this make you guys feel?
I'm happy as Larry.
I'm very excited though because I actually didn't know anything about her at first, just the thing that people were saying about it. But she looks very strong, and I noticed that our opponent was a bit nervous during the face-off, during the official with this ceremonial weighing. So and I'm like, okay, she probably might have an advantage there and stuff. And the way she fought, damn, I was so proud of her, man. I'm like, yeah, especially after what Alono did. And then watching her doing that, I was like, yo, thank God that at least out of 4 Nigerians that were there, 3 of us pulled through. And it doesn't matter who's the first champion at the EFC, male or female or whatever. What is important that we are being recognized, in the world of MMA, even here in Africa. That's what I'm happy about.
Joel, let me come to you. Her opponent, Dana Van Beek. We have another comment here from listening to this. I think I knew Juliet was going to take the title, but I can't help but express my disappointment in how Van Beek fought. I don't think she brought her A game. Do you think that Dana was on her A game that night? Because we know that she's good with grappling and takedowns, but we didn't see any of that. Every time she tried, she didn't set up the shots. Well, when she had to shoot, she didn't set it up. So Chukwu was very, very adept at stopping the takedowns. How did you see Van Beek's performance in this title fight?
I was going to quote George St. Pierre there, where I'm not impressed with her performance. I think she tried. I do think she tried. I mean, she went the full 5 rounds. It takes a lot of effort to go the full 5 rounds. Juliet invested a lot in those low calf kicks early on. And I think that actually paid more dividends than what people are realizing. You'll notice that Van Beek kept changing stances. So she was definitely uncomfortable on her feet. And then another point which we haven't touched on, you mentioned that Juliet's a flyweight coming up to bantamweight. There was a speed difference there. Juliet was a lot quicker. She was able to get in, hit, and get out without being hit. And that was frustrating. And I think that's what caused Van Beek to shoot for those takedowns without any good setups, because she's just frustrated and trying to do something to get her hands on her. But Juliet was too fast and she saw it coming. Do I think that Van Beek has had better performances? Yes, I do. But at the same time, Juliet was controlling her and only giving her very little to work with. So as much as we want to say Van Beek wasn't on her game, Juliet was very much on her game, which didn't allow Van Beek to get into her momentum and her swing of things.
It was a great fight. It was an absolutely stunning fight. Ola is shaking your head there very vigorously and very proudly, I can see there, because his countrywoman has taken gold back to what I would say a gold-studded Nigeria. If we look at Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya, former Nigerian world champions as well. But like you were mentioning at EFC 119, there were quite a few different fights that were very interesting. We saw the decision win by Edson Machivani. As we can see there, we had Blam B taking on the Chef. Let's cook it up, Chef. And Horatius Alonu against the Gorilla, Zico Makengele. And an amazing fight. But looking at the card, which 2 fights stood out for you guys? Which fights really excited you in how they went, whether it be how it was finished or the overall fight? Which fight stood out for you?
It's got to be the Alono one, man. The Alono one was crazy, bro. that was wild. And Adrian Sanchez as well. I did not see that coming the way it did. So, yeah, it'll be those 2 fights for me, 100%.
Patrick?
Sorry, man. I was lost in a bit. I just finished something. What was it again?
No problem. Which 2 fights would you pick out here that really stood out for you on this fight night, including yours? And I hope you say yours.
Of course, mine, man. Yeah, I would say my fight and the other fight is the one between actually the main event, man. The main event was really, 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 that was a lot of firework. And I wouldn't say my fight. I would say the main event and the fight between Alono and Zico.
Yeah, man,
Because
that fight between
the
Alonu and
first,
Zico.
it's like Alonso was there to take a beating round one, man, and round two. But the way his spirit of perseverance really pulled
Right.
through, you know, and
Yeah.
that helped him because Zico is used to people are terrified of him with good reason because he's a great fighter, you know, with a lot of power and technique as well. So after he did all what he did to Alonso and he was able to come back like that, for me, I went crazy. Like, yo, I went crazy about that fight, man. I don't want to lie. I went mad. So the two fight that got me crazy besides my own fight was Zico's fight and Alono and Balaloa and Edison's fight.
And Joel, how about you? Which two fights were your stand-up fights on the night?
Look, I think the Olonu fight, we definitely have to give credit to that.
Yeah.
I mean, to come back in the third round and just take the victory in that fashion and knocking him out on the fence, that was absolutely amazing. So that would be a very big standout fight for me. And then the next one is actually going to be the British fight. That knockout was nasty. That's going to be a highlight reel for years to come. I mean, that right hook that he landed clean and he went stiff. Oof. It was that was a nice fight to see.
As Jamal Hill would say, light as a feather, stiff as a board. Done. Fight was over. Those were absolutely amazing fights. I think I agree with you guys. The Horatius Olonu KO was absolutely insane. And also the British Bola Young. I think those two fights. Although I'm looking at the Kunene versus Adams fight, but okay, cool. It didn't quite make my list this time around, but we'll look at it in a second. With regards to the fights on the night, we had performance bonuses for Horatius Olonu, British Bola Young, the beast, the man on the screen here with us, Patrick Ocheme, and Yassine Adams, who all had stunning KOs on the night. Of these four fights, which KO would be your favorite? Because these are all 4 KOs. Although, with that said, let's jump into finish of the night. Which do you guys have as your finish of the night?
Yeah, it has to be Alonu for me. It's just because of how it happened and the punishment he took in the first 2 rounds. Because I did, coming to the end of the second round, I didn't give him much hope. You know, I gave him 0 hope. I thought, this brother has been punished for the first 2 rounds. And, Zico's just going to go in there and just get this guy out of there. And for this fight to end the way it did, I mean, when you watch the whole fight, you'll understand why this one is. And what we just saw there, when you knock the gum shield out of somebody's mouth, that's just, it gives you a different babavoom, a different sprinkle on the something, you know. That gum shield came flying out of his mouth. But yeah, it was incredible, man. It was incredible. And shout out to my boy Leroy in the chat, man.
Overhand.
And I think the other finish on the night that is there in performance bonuses, and there we go. There is the KO we were talking about. That right hook was
that one hurt me.
nasty.
That one hurt me. I can't lie. That one hurt.
It was nasty.
I felt it.
And
I felt it.
it came off a flying knee.
He got caught with a knee while he was trying to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he was trying to avoid British. Then he got caught with that right hand. Fuck, that was crazy.
Yeah,
that was good.
That was like the Curtis Blades
and then we have
Derek Lewis one.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have the man on the screen, Patrick the Beast, taking down Block Kabanda. Of course, oh no, it didn't continue. So there was a question in the chats about why are we not talking about Kabanda pulling Patrick's legs after the fight to the point where the referee had to actually wrestle him off. Patrick, tell us more. What exactly was going on in that moment?
You see, when we had that exchange, and because I knew my plan was to make him angry, to frustrate him so that he could come all out on me, because I've watched a lot of his videos and I've studied him a lot, you know, because IQ, it's a very important factor in the sport, you know. So then when I caught him with the first hook and he went down, he was supposed to take his time to recover before coming at me, but he thought he caught me as well. So he was rushing to finish me, not knowing that he didn't even touch me at all. Right. So when I saw that, oh, this guy, okay, then I threw the second hook and I caught him. Then I knew I had him dead. So after the fourth hook and he went down, The first hammer fist I landed, it was out.
Hmm.
The second one, he woke up. So after I landed the second one, that was when Faraday said it's over. At first, he stepped on him, and he was saying it's over. But you know, when you were asleep and you wake up, you don't know where you are or what you are actually doing. So if the referee was to be the one in front of him, he was going to grab the referee's leg as well. You get my point. So he didn't even realize that the fight was over. So he just kept on because he's strong. He came back really quickly. So he was just trying to grab my leg to make it look like he was trying to wrestle me. You understand? But in truth, if the referee didn't say stop, the kind of elbows I was going to land on him there, only God knows. I was going to cut him open in a way that he wouldn't even fight for a year. Really, because he was being so disrespectful. He was being so disrespectful before the fight. You know,
Oh,
I tried to talk to him. I tried to be nice to him. He was giving me attitude. Even his coaches were really nice people. But him, I don't know. Maybe that's how he does to other people by intimidating them and stuff.
mm.
And I said to him there in the face off, I'm going to finish you. I hope you're ready. You must come prepared because I'm going to take off your head. I told him. And he said, we'll see, we'll see. So he's so arrogant, you know. So, but yeah, the referee, I believe that the referee saved him because it was going to be bad for him, man.
Yeah. Patrick, can I ask you something real quick before y'all jumps in? I mean, all in those moments you were dropping him, just one drop after the other. Like, what's going on through your mind in that moment there? Are you thinking you just need the ref to get in there and save this guy now, or sometimes you could rush in those moments and again get caught yourself? How do you manage those little intricacies, those nuances when you're in those moments?
One of the qualities that I have is the ability to go in and out without being touched. People just haven't realized that yet. You know, I mostly go into a fight without being touched mostly. And and I knew I got mad reach advantage over you. People just don't know about my reach as well, right? So then, and I'm actually very fast. So, and the moment I caught him the first time, I knew I'm not supposed to give him any chance to recover because what everybody was telling me about it before the fight was he's strong, he got power. People hurt themselves when they punch him or kick him, stuff like that. And I'm like, if I catch him and I hurt myself, it means only one thing. It means he's fighting with Muti. That's what I said, you know. And I even said that if I get caught at all in this fight, it's my fault. It means I must have made a really bad mistake, you know. So the moment I caught him the first time, I wasn't going to rush him if he didn't rush at me. So when he rushed at me and I caught him the second time again, then I knew I've had him there. I was never going to let him out. I was never going to let him recover at all until the referee says stop. Because only when the referee says stop, that's when I'll stop. Because for somebody that people know, people have been saying is tough, is strong, there's a reason why they are saying that, and they've been in the game for a very long time, you know. And after I catch him the first time, a lot of guys would have been out by that first punch, but he stood up, he rushed to stand up. I was like, geez, is this guy really a human being or a robot or what? Let me try again, you know. So in those 5 seconds, I was really trying to finish him, you know, because you know how the fighting world is. If you get a chance, you do not use it, then it might turn around and bite you. You understand? So I had to use my opportunity. It was right in front of me. And the only way I was going to stop was when the referee pulled me off or when the referee said stop. So I went with my instinct and it paid off.
I was so proud of you in that fight, man. I was so proud of you, man. I mean, you carry a flag
Thank you
and
very
you
much.
went out there and you did your thing, man. So proud of you, my bro. That was a big
Thank you
one.
very
That was a
much.
big finish.
I appreciate it.
It was fantastic. And I was standing next to someone, and I looked at him and I said, "You see this fight?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You see that guy?" Pointing at Patrick. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "This fight's ending in the first round." He's like, "Oh, okay." And it's exactly what happened. So thank you, Patrick. You made me look good.
I mean,
Thank you for the vote of confidence.
everything Patrick predicted that was going to happen on this card, pretty much. He did say Edson was going to win as well. He predicted everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He called it.
We have our EFC stage. Now, the fight of the night that was called by the EFC, the one that they gave the fight of the night to, was Balelo versus Machavani. They saw that as the fight of the night. Let me come to you first, Joel. Joel, for you, which was just the fight of the night? I think we might have covered it already, but which fight for you really stood out? The fight of the night.
I think fight of the night definitely is this main event. That's hands down. If I had to choose a close second, I would look at the Shadrach versus Sia, just because there was a change in momentum, and also very, very close decision at the end of the day. So definitely the main event. I mean, with the controversy on it, it has to be fight of the night. It kept everyone entertained, but close second, Shadrach and Sia.
How about you, Ola? Your fight of the night?
Yeah, I'd say exactly the same thing. For me, it's got to be the main event, and that was just for entertainment value. You know, both of them. I mean, we saw moonwalking, we saw Edson doing like star jumps. There was all sorts going in there. This time, these guys were saying, you know, they were giving each other high fives. At one point, Balelo went to give him a high five. Edson he returned with a fire shot, straight kick into the chest. I thought, oh, this brother ain't playing. You know, just all those little intricacies of what was happening in the fight made it so entertaining. You know what I mean? He kept you on the edge of the seat. Nobody knew who was really winning. The fight was so close. It brought everything. That fight had every single thing that you want from a fight night. And even the result as a split decision, that's what you get from fight of the night. So it brought everything with it.
Patrick, how about you? Do you agree with these judgments? Do you agree with the EFC that this was the fight of the night at EFC 1?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the decision and stuff. Before the fight, even I thought it was Zico's fight that was going to be the fight of the night because of the way he dominated round 1 and 2, and the fight got changed and Alono took over, and the way he knocked him out while he was standing, it's like it was at home, relaxed there in the cage, you know. I was like, there's no way this will be the fight of the night. But seeing the performance from Edison and Valelua, no man, that was beautiful, man. Beautiful sportsmanship, beautiful footwork, beautiful game plan and stuff. Both of them deserve to be overseas as well, if I'm to be honest. Like both of them, they deserve to be world champions, like the both of them. So that definitely deserves to be the fight of the night.
I agree 100%. For me as well, just the atmosphere, the skill between the two fighters, I definitely think this was fight of the night. Moving on from EFC 119, that amazing fight card that we just looked at, we have upcoming EFC 120, where they have 3, not 1, not 2, 3 title fights on one night. Oh, I'm very excited about EFC 120. On these upcoming fights, which one are you guys looking forward to the most? All 3 title fights, one for the women's strawweight title, one for the men's welterweight title between Zakir Badat and Luke Michael, and the GOAT, Iga Cabeza, is back, but he's not fighting Chilumba Mikishi. He is now fighting Martin the Punisher Van Staden. Which fight? Let me start with you, Ola. Which fight is the one that excites you the most here?
I mean, look. Every time Igu steps in the cage, man, like, how can you not get excited to see Igu, Smiley, Cabeza get in the cage and just do what he does? So whenever he's in the cage, yeah, you know, you got to get excited about it. But the journey that Luke Michael has been on, the craziness that's happened over the last year, you know, from JP Kruger to the war he's just been in, to where he's now going for champ status. It makes you you want to see what's gonna happen. Will he actually realize it? Will he be, you know, the 170 and the 185 champion simultaneously at the same time? Is there a chance? There's a good chance. So those 2 fights definitely warming me up. But I mean, whenever Eagle Smiley Cabeza gets in the cage, man, I just want to see him perform. And hopefully one day, Patrick, you might get a shot at this brother here as well, man. I'll be just as excited. But yeah,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the Cabeza fight.
Patrick, let me come to you. Which fight for you stands out here? Obviously, like Ola said, your eyes would be on featherweight. Smiley has 2 belts. He has to come back down sometime. Which fight here excites you?
Originally, it was the fight between Cabeza and Mikishi, because I wanted to actually see that fight. Like, actually, those are the 2 guys, you know, I was like, I would love to fight one of these 2 guys for the title. You get my point? Cabeza is a legend. Everybody knows that. And
so
Mikishi
like
also
a
has a
fight for you.
You know, yeah, I was actually looking forward to that fight, really. But now that he's fighting Martin, it's just gonna be a walkover, man, because Martin he's a legend. Like, he was a veteran, but now I wasn't really impressed with his fight against Kuleni, if I'm to be honest, because he's old now, so it's not the same anymore. Not the same fire, not the same hunger and stuff like that. So now I'm not really looking forward to that fight anymore. And now the fight between Badat and Luke Michael. The reason why it doesn't excite me that much because Luke Michael was fighting the middleweight with no cardio. How can you be fighting the title fight and round two you're already dead tired? So if you cut it less and you're struggling with your endurance, then imagine going even lower. For me, I feel like they shouldn't have given him that opportunity of fighting for the double champ status. That's what I think, though. That's my opinion because this is our job. We should take it seriously, right? By now, for you to be a champion, you should know how to breathe properly. You should know how to move properly. You should know how to calculate whatever you're doing. You should have wrestling fitness, backward fitness, padwork fitness, running fitness. You should know how to breathe properly. Then for a champion that cannot even go 2 rounds, 3 rounds without just, running out of steam, and to me, you cannot have my respect when you are such a person. So, in my opinion, I would say I will still be looking forward to Iga Kebesa fighting because it's always a very entertaining fighter, and it brings that fire. It'd be like you'll be like, what is he gonna do next? So I'm really looking forward to that fight, really.
Joel, these two gentlemen have gone down the line. Patrick is not very interested in both fights, as he said. Ola is excited about Luke Michael, and the GOAT. Where do you sit? Where do you lie?
Yeah. My most interesting one would be the Badat and Michael fight. I think I'm looking forward to that one. Both guys are very grappling heavy. Zakia came off a phenomenal knockout. So it'd be very interesting to see how that goes. Zakia has also got a bit more jit skill than most of Michael's opponents. I think JP Kruger also had the jit skill, so that gave Michael a little bit of trouble. So I'd like to see a little bit of back and forth there. But also with Zakia, who knows, maybe it's going to be kept standing. But going back to the Iga and Martin van Staden fight, I want to sort of bring it in line with the John Jones and the Stipe Miocic. It's the GOAT fighting the has-been. Martin's been here, he's done everything he needs to do. He's coming back for a final run. That's great. But now you have to go run through Iga of all people. Oh man, it's just another name to add to Iga's legacy, and I'm happy we're going to see that.
I agree 100%. He is the old man Punisher at this point, just like it was old man Stipe, unfortunately. But it will be hopefully an entertaining fight. For me, I'm on the ladies because this fight essentially will define, between Juliet Chukwu coming and winning, it will define women's MMA in the EFC going forward for at least the next year and a half. We have G.I. Jess Monami, who she's been doing a bit of bare knuckle. I think the last 2 fights were in bare knuckle. She's now come back to MMA. She's got a 2-1 record. We've got Felicitas Mugo, who's fighting out of the Congo. She's now at 4-2. She's had, I think, 3 or 4 fights this year. She's getting her record and her skills up. And whoever wins this title will be carrying the flag for the EFC where it comes to the women's divisions. G.I. Jess, we know she lost last time against Alice Ardeline, who is now in the UFC. Yeah. Yes, she vacated the title for this fight to happen. So for me, that's where I'm sitting. That's the fight that I'm excited to see. Strikes and strangles. I agree. So that's why I'm looking forward to this fight. I need to see something really happen on Felicitas' side, and I think it will. Sucks bad. How bad? Let's say really bad. Shout out to South Dog, S Dogs MMA Talk Sterling. Thank you for joining. Definitely do follow, like, subscribe to them. They are an amazing podcast out of Houston, Texas, run by Sterling, our man Sterling. So those are all the fights that we have coming up, the primary fights we have coming up. And that is the recap show. I think just to tie it back to one question we have here, do you guys think that Kebesa will come out of the fight spotless? If so, who do you think deserves a shot at beating him if the Punisher fails?
He's sitting right here.
Right,
Stick it
yeah,
right
over
here.
here.
Listen to this. There's your answer. Where's your answer? There's your answer. Okay, cool.
Over
does
here,
anyone-
right here.
Did Luke change his betting sponsor? Does anyone know if Luke is still with World Sport Betting?
Yeah, I think it's
Question in
still,
the chat.
last
He
time I
should
checked,
still
it's
be
still
with.
was,
I
yeah.
can't see he would have changed.
Yeah, last
Mm.
time
Can't
I
see that he
checked,
would
it's
have
still,
changed.
it's still with them. Yeah, unless Leroy is on the wind up with that one there. You know, I think.
And last but not least, happy belated birthday shout out to the one and only
Thank
Ola
you.
Akande from the Fight Week show. My brother Ola, it was his birthday this past week. Happy belated birthday.
No,
We wish you
thank
many
very
more
much.
from
No,
Kicking
I
with the Head.
Happy
appreciate it, man.
belated birthday to you,
Happy
bro.
Happy
Yeah, man,
birthday.
thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, man. It was yesterday. I got absolutely mashed up, so I'm still recovering. And if I could milk it for the whole week, I'm going to try to. You know what I mean? But thank you very much, people.
Gents, what do you guys have coming up? Anything interesting you have coming up that you'd like to let the fans know about? And if you can share your social media handles, then we can all get out of here. Joel, let's start with you. What do you have coming up this week? And what are your social media handles?
I'm going to be traveling for the next 2-3 weeks. So yeah, I'm going to be offline. Looking forward to some downtime. And then yeah, looking to start next year off with a bang. I've been cleared by the doctor, so I'm allowed to go and fight again. So you guys are going to see me soon.
Yay, happy to hear that. Patrick, what do you have lined up?
If the Nigerian consulate decides to renew my passport this week or next week, then I'll be traveling down to Thailand to Tiger Muay Thai for 2 weeks training camp.
Oh, interesting.
Oof.
Yeah.
Ola, and that'll have that fight that you want between him and Smiley happen most possibly sooner rather than later if he's training out in Tiger Muay
If that
Thai.
happens, if that happens, you know, I'm gonna be one of the happiest fans on the planet, man. And make no mistake, I will be supporting Patrick on that one, man. When that
Thank you.
But tomorrow we have Dust Up Shakedown on the Fight Week show, where we're gonna be talking about, you know, the most current MMA news, what's happening in the fight world, what's going on in the world of combat sports. And yeah, we usually have a plethora of guests. And at one point, you know, I'd like to get both of you on as well to join us on Dust Up Shakedown. But yeah, tomorrow, Dust Up Shakedown live, 9 p.m. UK time. Don't miss it, people. It's gonna be a fun one, especially our latest Nigerian brother in John Jones. Beating up Stipe and winning him. Yeah, he done his DNA test. He done his DNA
42% Nigerian, yes.
We are accepting
Another
all
Nigerian
comers, brother.
champion.
We're accepting all comers. And if it's John Jones in there, bring him along, but we're accepting all comers. You know what I mean? So, yeah, big up. Come join us on Dust Up Shakedown tomorrow.
To everyone listening, as always, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe on all our platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course here on YouTube at Head Kick Pod on all platforms. Until next time, salute.
Love.